We've all heard the term SHTF. It's the moment when disaster strikes, when the world as we know it crumbles. It could be a natural disaster, a financial collapse, a pandemic, or something totally unexpected. The point is, when SHTF, you're on your own. No one is coming to help. No 911, no FEMA, no government bailout. It's just you, your wits, and whatever you've prepared. And trust me, things can get a whole lot worse than you can imagine. We're talking about situations where basic necessities like food, water, and shelter are gone, where law and order have vanished, and desperate people will do desperate things to survive. This isn't some Hollywood movie. This is real life, and it's happening right now in some parts of the world. That's why it's crucial to be prepared, both mentally and physically. You need to know how to handle yourself in a crisis, how to protect yourself and your loved ones, and how to survive when the odds are stacked against you. In this video, we're going to dive deep into 10 disturbing threats you're probably not ready for, and more importantly, how to survive them. Picture this. The power's out, phones are dead, and chaos reigns. You hear screams in the distance, and you know something's terribly wrong. You call 911, but there's only static. You're on your own. In a major SHTF scenario, law enforcement will be overwhelmed and stretched thin. They'll be dealing with their own families and the breakdown of their communities. Don't expect them to be there to protect you. This isn't about becoming a vigilante. It's about understanding that your safety and the safety of your loved ones falls squarely on your shoulders. You need to be prepared to defend yourself and your property if the worst happens. This means having a plan, knowing how to secure your home and having the means to protect yourself. Remember, when the rules of society break down, it's every man for himself. Don't be caught off guard. Be prepared to be your own first responder. In the chaotic aftermath of a disaster, you might find yourself clinging to any sign of authority. But beware, because not everyone wearing a badge is who they claim to be. Criminals and gangs will often exploit the breakdown of order by impersonating law enforcement or emergency personnel. They'll use fake uniforms, badges, and even vehicles to gain your trust and then rob you blind or worse. So how can you tell the real deal from a dangerous imposter? First, trust your gut. If something feels off, it probably is. Second, ask for identification and scrutinize it carefully. Don't be afraid to ask questions and verify their identity. And remember, in a true SHTF situation, your best bet might be to avoid contact with anyone you don't know and trust completely. It's better to be safe than sorry. Stay vigilant, stay aware, and don't let your guard down. We saw it after Hurricane Katrina, and it will happen again. In the chaos of a major disaster, one of the first things authorities will do is try to disarm the populace. They'll claim it's for your own safety, to prevent looting and violence, but the truth is, a disarmed citizenry is easier to control, and that's what they're really after. Now, I'm not saying all law enforcement and military personnel will turn on their own people, but history has taught us that it's a very real possibility. And in a true SHTF scenario, you can bet that some will be more than willing to follow orders, even if it means violating your rights. This is a complex and controversial issue, and I'm not here to tell you what to believe, but I am here to tell you to be aware of the possibility and to be prepared to protect yourself and your family, even if it means from those who swore an oath to protect you. Remember, when the chips are down, the only person you can truly rely on is yourself. When the rules of society crumble, so too does the thin veneer of civilization. Desperate times bring out the worst in people, and you can bet that gangs and opportunistic criminals will be out in force. These predators will prey on the weak and vulnerable, looting, pillaging, and taking what they want by force. They'll be armed, organized, and ruthless, and they won't hesitate to use violence to get what they want. Your best defense against these threats is to avoid them altogether. Stay off the streets, keep a low profile, and don't make yourself an easy target. But if confrontation is unavoidable, you need to be prepared to fight back with overwhelming force. This means having a plan, training with your weapons, and being mentally prepared to do what it takes to survive. Remember, in a SHTF world, there are no rules, only survivors. In a world gone mad, self-defense is no longer a luxury, it's a necessity. You can't rely on anyone else to protect you, so you need to be prepared to protect yourself and your loved ones. This means more than just owning a gun or knowing how to throw a punch. It means having the mindset, the skills, and the physical conditioning to survive a violent encounter. Start by learning basic self-defense techniques. Take a martial arts class, learn how to handle a firearm safely and effectively, and practice your skills regularly. But self-defense is about more than just fighting. It's about awareness, avoidance, and de-escalation. It's about knowing how to spot trouble before it finds you, how to talk your way out of a dangerous situation, and how to escape if things turn ugly. Remember, the best fight is the one you never have to fight. We often take for granted the simple luxury of garbage collection. But in a long-term SHTF scenario, garbage disposal becomes a major health hazard. Imagine mountains of rotting food, overflowing sewers, and swarms of disease-carrying insects. Without proper sanitation, diseases like cholera, dysentery, and typhoid fever can spread like wildfire. Your garbage can literally become a death trap if you're not careful. That's why it's crucial to have a plan for managing waste. This means composting organic materials, burning what you can, and burying what you can't. You'll also need to be extremely careful about hygiene. Wash your hands frequently, boil your water, and avoid contact with contaminated areas. Remember, in a survival situation, cleanliness is next to godliness. When the SHTF, your local supermarket won't be open for business. That's why it's crucial to have a stockpile of essential sanitation items on hand. This includes toilet paper, soap, hand sanitizer, bleach, garbage bags, and feminine hygiene products. These items might seem trivial now, but trust me, you'll be grateful you have them when you need them most. Don't wait until it's too late. Start building your sanitation stockpile today. A good rule of thumb is to have at least a 3-month supply on hand for each member of your family. Remember, in a survival situation, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Survival isn't just about physical strength and practical skills, it's also about mental toughness. In a crisis, your mind can be your greatest asset or your worst enemy. Fear, panic, and despair can paralyze you, cloud your judgment, and lead to fatal mistakes. That's why it's crucial to cultivate a positive mental attitude and to develop coping mechanisms for dealing with stress and trauma. Start by practicing mindfulness and meditation. These techniques can help you stay calm, focused, and in control of your emotions, even in the most challenging situations. Surround yourself with positive people. Focus on the things you're grateful for. Remember, hope is a powerful motivator, and it can make the difference between giving up and fighting for your life. Survival is not for the faint of heart. It demands physical endurance, mental fortitude, and an unwavering will to live. You'll be faced with challenges you never thought possible, and you'll need to dig deep to overcome them. This means being in good physical shape. You don't need to be an Olympic athlete, but you should be able to walk long distances, carry heavy loads, and defend yourself if necessary. But physical fitness is only half the battle. You also need to be mentally prepared for the challenges ahead. This means developing your problem-solving skills, learning how to adapt to changing circumstances, and cultivating a never-give-up attitude. Remember, survival is a marathon, not a sprint. It's about pacing yourself, conserving your energy, and never losing sight of your goals. In a major disaster, you can't rely on cell phones, the internet, or even television to stay informed. Communication networks will be down, and you'll be on your own when it comes to gathering information. That's why it's crucial to have a way to communicate with the outside world. A multi-band ham radio is an invaluable tool in a SHTF scenario. It allows you to send and receive information over long distances, even when other forms of communication are unavailable. Invest in a good quality ham radio, learn how to use it properly, and get your ham radio license. It could be the difference between life and death in a disaster. Remember, knowledge is power, and in a survival situation, information is king. Look, I'm not trying to scare you, but I am trying to give you a much-needed wake-up call. The world is a dangerous place, and things can go sideways a lot faster than you think. But that doesn't mean you have to live in fear. By embracing a prepper mindset, by taking practical steps to prepare for the unexpected, you can face the future with confidence, knowing that you and your loved ones are ready for whatever comes your way. Remember, it's not about living in fear. It's about taking control of your destiny. Stay frosty, my friends. Keep your head down and your powder dry.